What's going on with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, staying blessed. And remember, like I always said, we only got one life, one chance, so let's do it right. So with that being said, there's two questions that my subscribers had asked me that I think that I should answer because I think there's some very good questions. The first one, it says, what would I tell myself if I was to go back in time when I first got arrested? Would I tell myself to PC up from the jump? Or would I tell him to go stay GP but stay away from the politics? Good question. Honestly, the only thing I would tell myself is that your journey is about to be a long one and it's going to be a bumpy run. I would tell him, continue to become who you want to become. Don't let nothing get in your way because it's about to happen. So just be ready for it, but put up the biggest fight that you can. Because like I said, I'm not going to be one of those ones that say that I was young and ignorant. Yes, I was young when I made a decision to join a gang, but I knew what I was doing when I joined one. I wasn't naive to nothing. So I'm not going to make no excuses for myself. I know what I wanted to become. And the further along that I got myself more heavily involved into the street gangs and prison gangs, I knew what I wanted to become then. So no, I don't regret nothing. I wouldn't tell myself to PC up for nothing because those main lines, those general populations, the environment, the atmosphere is different. That alone could teach you a lot. Being around a lot of individuals who had life without the possibility of parole helped me think different. Just the way that people conducted themselves, the levels of respect that I got to learn, the way to conduct myself due to the codes of conduct taught by the homies, the leadership positions that I got to hold, all that played a significant role into becoming the person that I wanted to become anyways. There could be a lot taught and learned from being on the main line in the general population. So no, I wouldn't go PC up or go to the SNY as it's called nowadays. I would stay general population because I learned a lot being in all those years fighting against Southerners, learning to live next door to Southerners and whites, skinheads, blacks. It was just a level of respect that I got to learn that, man, any given moment, this yard can blow up. That man next door could stab me. The level of awareness that I had to teach myself to pay attention to my enemies created something in me that till today I apply myself to. So no, I would tell myself to still get involved in politics because back then, souls were utilizing their status to remain on the main lines just to reap the benefits and the rewards from having those positions of powers, for being in the higher COC positions, generating all the money, getting access to all the drugs, getting access to all the connects on the streets, being in touch with carnales. We were gaining recognition by taking care of our responsibilities while utilizing the northern population to do our dirty work. When in all actuality, we had the moral obligation since we took that oath to be the ones to make all the necessary sacrifices. We were supposed to be on the main lines teaching these northerners how to establish and put together and uphold COC positions. In the event that we had to go to the hole, they would be there to replace us and continue to create that safe haven that we created for them. We're supposed to be the frontline battle soldiers. But we were abusing our positions of power for so long that we were utilizing northerners. I didn't care if you had 3 years to the house. If I put this banger in your hand and I told you to go remove this individual, you can't question why or what motives or if it was a proper sanction of this removal. You had to do what I told you to do or else you can get knocked down with the individual that needs to be knocked down. As northerners not involved heavily into the politics, you had to abide by the household policies and the yard policies and do the educational department essays on a consistent basis. And souls didn't really have to. We were too busy focusing on other politics, other policies, other forms of goals and if will, should I say. So I wouldn't want to be that individual just being told what to do. I would rather be the individual telling people what to do. Because after years of people coming over to the SNYs, I think the familianos kind of got it in their head that there was a lot of abuse of authority and everything that the norteños that were doing on the main lines were just pushing the people away. They were oppressing the people to the point that the SNY dropout rate became significant. to the point that they actually changed the policy saying no Northerner is obligated to do any removals. That is solely the purpose and job of end souls. We were the ones that are going to have to pick up the knives. That a Northerner only had to defend and protect his household to the best of his ability. And that was it. They had the option to be educated if they want to. Instead, back then, we were forcing you to get educated because I was trying to mold you into a soldier to work for me. Now you have that choice to say, I'm going to do my time peacefully and productively. If I have to get involved, I'll get involved. But now I'm going to take the opportunity to do my time in peace and go home. Back then, when I first started doing my prison term, that wasn't allowed. If I told you to do 2,000 jumping jacks because I felt like you were out of shape and you couldn't finish a regular regiment burpee routine, I could make you do that. And that's where I think things have changed now, and they changed for the better. So I would still tell myself to get involved in the politics because I needed to learn what I learned now, what I know today, that helped me change my decision after I got removed to finally say, you know what, I am going to go enjoy my life and go to the SNYs and just live peacefully and learn to think for myself. Instead of having some man that I never met, who I'll probably never meet, shoot me a kite, tell me how to think, and then I have to incorporate it in the household implementations to make these Northerners think, not for themselves, but the way I feel like they need to think. Just the way this man over here is making me feel to think. That's how it works. Whatever they push on that paper goes, even if you don't like it. At least on the SNY side, man, you have that option to say, you know what, I don't agree with this. I don't have to conduct myself this way, and I'm gonna do my time and pick up a weapon when I choose to. When I feel it's necessary and important to protect myself. You're only obligated to yourself on the SNY, so it's a big choice to make. But I would still go GP because I feel like that's a learning experience that I think everybody should enjoy and should have. Life is nothing but a big learning experience. We're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna fail, and we learn from them. And I learned from mine being on a general population and involving myself in the politics the way that I did. It helped me grow as a person, and I don't regret nothing. People also ask me about my opinion on the end of hostilities and what are my thoughts on it and if it affected anything on the SNY side. See, the thing is, I agree with it. The only thing I don't agree with is it took the familianos and the elders of the Black Hand to come together and make that decision. Why couldn't us, the North and the South, make that decision? Because we're the ones on the main lines fighting each other. They were doing indeterminate shoot terms for almost 25, 30 plus years, never coming out. When we're on these main lines establishing it for them, which we never anticipated them coming back out. So why couldn't we make that decision for ourselves to finally say, like, look, we'll take care of them in the back, but right now we got to think about ourselves because there's a bigger enemy out here. Whether it's other races or the prison administration, we had bigger battles to fight. Why couldn't we do that ourselves? Why couldn't we make that decision ourselves to say, you know what, finally we need to come to peace and come to terms that we can coexist and live with one another? But it took them to do it only because they finally got tired of being in the shoot terms and felt like they needed to come out here to reap the benefits of what these mainlines had for them. The way we were out here making money, making thousands of dollars and had cell phones and drugs and connections and establishing the streets, that was their way of saying, we want to be out there and oversee it firsthand. And we allowed them to do that. Because think about it, how many Sureños from up north are in there doing life without for killing a Northerner, and vice versa. Norteños that actually killed Southerners that were proud of it, proud that the homies embedded that type of knowledge and education and guidance for us to be out there putting in work and securing our streets, only to say, well, I'm doing life now, and now I can live with them. Now they're no threat to me. Now we're united as one raza to fight a different goal, to fight a different agenda. Yeah, change was made for the better, for advancement, but it still makes me feel sorry for those individuals who caught life for those type of sacrifices, and now they're being overlooked because these individuals wanted to come out and benefit the same way everybody else has been benefiting from, just to further their own organization, to further their books, to further their reach outside in society. That's the way I look at it. But it didn't affect nothing on the SNY because at the end of the day, these integration policies that are taking place and all these new modern day gladiator fights and setups is the primary focus now. Now the SNY, STG groups have to come together and fight against the active side. So our priority now is not aligning with one another, but fighting with each other in order to defend ourselves from, being placed on the active sides, because now this war is becoming serious and is becoming realistic. I don't think ending hostilities amongst actives and SNYs would ever take place. I don't think it would ever take place. I would hope it would, because if you guys can entertain the idea of North and South coming together as one, I mean, we need to stop seeing it as that we're just SNYs and we're pieces of shit and we're garbage and we defected and we're all snitches and rapists and everything else. We're all cut from the same cloth. You guys just choose not to admit that. I'm a man, you're a man, come from the same heritage and background. Whether we chose to stop gangbanging or not, that was our choice to make. That wasn't yours. You guys need to recognize the fact that we're now taking matters into our own hands and our own lives to make the decisions that we want, that's necessary and important for us. While you guys are still obligated amongst these prison politics and these big homies that you guys look up to. So, yeah, that would be better to stop all the violence that's taking place. But who knows? You guys entertain the idea for that kind of end of hostilities. Maybe someday in the near future we can do it as SNYs and actives. But with that being said, I hope everybody's having a blessed day. Hope I answered you guys' questions thoroughly, and I'll be dropping more videos pretty soon. Thank you.